Yo, what's up guys? You got pokeaimMD here. Today we have a video or a competitive look at Hisuian Zoroark, the new form of Zoroark. Now, I really like this Pokemon. We're going from a dark type Zoroark, which is already great typing, to a ghost and normal type. The first normal ghost that we've ever had, and this is such a big buff for this Pokemon. So before we go any further, you might be saying, well, Legends Arceus doesn't have competitive Pokemon. Why are you even talking about this? You are correct. However, we are looking forward towards Gen 9 or whatever game that this Pokemon is eventually allowed in. I think it's really fun to do videos like this. I love competitive Pokemon personally, and if you actually do subscribe to my channel, you'll see that for sure every single day. But yeah, if you guys do enjoy these videos, like I said, subscribe. My end of the year goal is 300k, and I can't wait to go over this Pokemon. I think it has a ton of potential. I think it's the best version of Zoroark we have. And yeah, the normal ghost is such an insane thing. And also, guys, let me know your thoughts down below on Hisuian Zoroark as well. So, Zoroark keeps the exact same ability as Zoroark. It keeps illusion. Now, for those that don't know how illusion works, I'll read it right here, but then I'll show you. When sent out in battle, it takes the name and appearance of the last non-fainted Pokemon within your party. It breaks when an attack does damage on the Pokemon, but not from weather effects or entry hazards. Basically, it's an illusion. It looks like the Pokemon that's in the end. So, let's say the first Pokemon or let's say the last Pokemon in my party, or that I pick, is Buzzwole. So, Buzzwole is right here. This Zoroark will look like Buzzwole. Now, if Buzzwole faints, and then, well, actually, let me make it a little bit easier too. Let's put Buzzwole and let's put Electabuzz because it was right there for whatever reason. Well, they both have Buzz. So, if I put Buzzwole as the end, this will look like Buzzwole. If Buzzwole faints and Electabuzz is the last Pokemon in my party, it's going to look like Electabuzz. If Zoroark gets hit by an attack, the illusion is going to break. However, it will keep the exact same name and everything about it. The only exception being that obviously it keeps illusion. So if you're like a Pokemon that has pressure, or like if you're Landorus, you're not going to activate your Intimidate, so people will know. So that's basically how illusion works. And the more Pokemon you put behind Zoroark, the more chances you can have it look like something else. I like to put Zoroark second in the party. Some people will put it first to pretend like, you know, Conkeldurr versus Espeon. They'll disguise it as Zoroark. Espeon will go for Psychic. Obviously, it doesn't affect Zoroark. And looking as a Conkeldurr will go for Dark Pulse and knock him out. Pretty cool little interaction there. But normal Ghost is insane typing. Why? Because it gives a Pokemon with illusion, which is usually more of a gimmick, even in competitive. Like, this mod's good, don't get me wrong, it's good on its own, but the illusion stuff are typically pretty gimmickal, right? Gimmickal, is a gimmickal a word? You know what, if it isn't, I created it, bro. But it has to be. I didn't make that up. I hate the English language. Anyway, so usually this Pokemon will be used as like something to support Regieleki, and it'll be like trick ring target. So you disguise it as Regieleki, right? Landers will come in, or the ground type will come in. You go for trick, giving them a ring target, allowing you to hit the ground type with a electric type attack. So that's typically the way Zoroark used. Other ways are like specs with like Grass Knot and like Dark Pulse and stuff to also deal with the ground types. Again, usually it's paired with like a Regieleki. In lower tiers, it's typically banned from whatever tier just because it's so strong and fast, and it'll make use of Swords Dance, Specs, Banded, or Nasty Plot sets. But it's never really had too much to do with the dark type, right? Like, being a dark type, sure, it gave it a resistance to you know, Ghost and Dark, and also obviously the immunity to Psychic, but in most cases that doesn't really come into play with this Pokemon. However, when you are looking at the normal and ghost typing, this is steps further, right? You are immune to not only the dual stab, normal and ghost, but also fighting, and you have a ton of resistances as well. So this is such a big step up just defensively for this offensive Pokemon. Again, and I mean, it is weaker than obviously Zoroark, right? You see 55 base HP, and you see, I'm talking about defensively, you see 55 versus 60 base HP, you see 100 attack versus 105 attack. So in this part, Zoroark beats it. But then the big things are base 110 speed and base 125 special attack. The base 110 speed is one of the biggest things for Zoroark, because this means previously it would be, I'll show you this at max speed, timid nature, max EVs. This is Pokemon Showdown, by the way, and this is Cerebi.net. And some people that I have to remember, this isn't common knowledge for people that don't know competitive Pokemon. But yeah, this is Pokemon Showdown, free site. You could actually battle by literally making your Pokemon. See, these people are battling. They didn't pay for any of this. And it's like a cool way to test your teams and stuff, or also play competitive Pokemon. And yeah, so this is huge because this puts Zoroark, a Pokemon that is immune to all of Gengar's moves and resists the Sludge Bomb, right? It's immune to Focus Blast and Shadow Ball, and it resists Sludge Bomb. It puts it at the same speed tier as that, at the same speed tier as Latios. But this also puts it above Pokemon that could previously beat it 1v1. Like, at least Gengar and Latios, you'd be able to Sucker Punch previously, and you could knock them out. But Kartana wasn't something you could knock out with Sucker Punch. And at this point now, you're faster than Kartana. You could threaten it with your Dark Pulse or Flamethrower, right? You're faster than Keldeo. You're faster than Infernape. And obviously, you're already faster than all the other mons that Zoroark was faster than too. And even that base 105 to base 110 jump makes a difference in like tiers where Zoroark was around, like usually Miss Magius was in that tier type of thing. So just putting it faster than that is such an insane buff for Zoroark. Like, this speed tier is the sweet spot, right? Because you're faster than some of the biggest threats in the tier. So this is definitely the sweet spot for Zoroark. So that's already a big plus for this Pokemon. Now, let's look a little bit more of its move pool, and then we'll compare it to the regular Zoroark move pool and what things it could actually take and what will make it better. So I think that one of the big things from this Pokemon is that it has Bitter Malice. Now, Bitter Malice is the user attacks its target. It's a ghost type move, 60 base power, and it's basically Hex, but it can have a secondary effect. So the target, the user attacks its target with Spine Chilling Resentment. This may also leave the target with Frostbite. This move power is doubled if the target has a status condition. So let's talk about Frostbite really quick. So, Frostbite is the way that Pokemon Legends Arceus has replaced Freeze. Now, I do not know if in Gen 9 and further this is how they will actually replace Freeze. I like this change, and I'm going to make a video on this as well as the Drowsy change from Sleep and that, and how I like them for future games. I'll make a video where I go in depth on that. But basically, this means that a Pokemon can no longer be frozen and, you know, have that, whatever, 20% chance to thaw every turn, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's 20%. I don't know, bro. When the Pokemon's frozen, you just, you know, you see red and you're just angry and you hope. But in this case, Frostbite is basically kind of like Burn, but on the special side. So Frostbite will do damage turn per turn, just like Burn, when the Pokemon is burned. And how Burn lowers the attack, this actually affects the Pokemon's special attack. So we finally have a special version of Burn via Frostbite. I like this a lot. I don't like the fact that my Pokemon can be frozen and never attack, especially if they're going for like Flamethrower stuff. Some fire moves do thaw, like Sacred Fire and Flamets, etc. But like certain things, it's just like, no, this is way better. Not only does it make Freeze not as game deciding, right? Like, you go all the way back down to Gen 1, and if the Pokemon is frozen, it's dead. Like, it will never thaw unless you hit it with a fire type attack. It will never thaw. It's basically, you know, you're down 6-5. But in this case, it's really cool because it gives it a really, really strong move, right? That's not like, it's better than Hex in this sense. Like, Hex is stronger, obviously, and if the Pokemon's already status, Hex is always going to be stronger. But it gives it a really cool Ghost Stab move that gives it the ability to basically status you in one attack. So this is a really big buff for this mon as well, because, you know, Gengar likes to run Specs Hex with like Toxic Spike support, or Will-O-Wisp or Thunder Wave support, but this mon doesn't need to do something like that, because if this move still goes the exact same way and it ends up doing Frostbite, not only can a special attacker, and not to mention, what if the special attackers are Dark type or something? Now, there's not a lot of Dark type special attackers, but Greninja, right? Let's say Greninja comes in on this thing, right? Greninja's faster, threatens it with Dark Pulse. Greninja comes in, gets Frostbite. Now its special attack is lowered, and it's taking damage turn per turn. So that's a pretty big thing. And your Bitter Malice goes from 60 base power to 120 base power. So this is an awesome move, and I think it really depends on how they rework Bitter Malice going forward, if it's even going to be in the new games, and or like Gen 9 or whatever games this thing will be allowed in, and also how Freeze will be affected, because this is a big thing too. If this has a 30% chance to freeze, like let's say Frostbite never makes it into new games, which I'm really hoping that it does. I like the change a lot from Freeze. But let's say Frostbite never makes it into new games and this just becomes Freeze. This is a 30% chance to freeze the opponent. That is already in itself broken, right? That is broken. That is broken. There's a huge difference between Para, like Poison, and Sleep and Freeze, right? Like Sleep, you'll have set turns. So Sleep was already broken back in the day. Again, I'll talk about this in my other things, but and Para, you know you'll eventually break out, the odds, whatever, and obviously Burn, you know, you lower your attack, whatever, but the Freeze is like, you're just coin flipping every turn, even more so than Para, just because you could potentially never thaw. So, nasty move, big buff for it. Other things that this Pokemon has is obviously Shadow Ball, and it still has Nasty Plot, and that's awesome. I think Nasty Plot is amazing for this Pokemon. Now, if we look at this game, the moves that are great with Nasty Plot are Flamethrower, because obviously that gives you the Steel coverage, and not that Dark. Like, Dark is good against Steel anyway, because Steel doesn't resist Dark anymore, right? This isn't the Stone Age, it's Gen 4, Gen 5. But as someone who loves Gen 4, Gen 5, and started my YouTube with Gen 4, I'm just making fun of myself. But the Flamethrower giving you the chance, you know, you get the KO on Ferrothorn, you get the KO on Scizor, etc. Awesome thing. You have Sludge Bomb right there for fairies, which is pretty cool too. Not that you have to worry anymore about fairies because you're no longer a dark type. So it's not that, I mean, fairies will still do a lot of damage to you, but at least your stab moves are doing a ton of damage to them. But you still have Sludge Bomb if you want that as well. And then in terms of special normal moves, we do have Hyper Beam. Now, Hyper Beam in this game has no recharge. It has no recharge. I would love, if they nerfed it to 120, if they kept Hyper Beam like at 120 and it had no recharge turn, that'd be such a sick move for this Pokemon in future games, but I'm not going to keep my hopes up with that. I'm not going to keep my hopes with that. I think that's less of a change that we'd see than potentially Frostbite to Freeze. But yeah, that'd be a sick one for that, obviously. And obviously in this game, the best set for this Pokemon definitely is running Hyper Beam and like Shadow Ball and Bitter Malice, etc. Flamethrower, Nasty Plot sets. But yeah, so that's some of the big things. Then if you look at regular Zoroark as well, other things that we do see on this Pokemon is it does have access to Swords Dance, so hopefully we can expect to see this Pokemon Swords Dance. Now it is weaker on the physical side, however it does have, obviously it would be Sucker Punch from this mon, as well as, it wouldn't get it from this mon, but like we're just assuming that based on its move pool. Obviously Nasty Plot is the big one too. This can get away easily with like a Nasty Plot set. With your, let's say, Bitter Malice. Let's just put Burning Jealousy for Bitter Malice. Let's put Batty Bad for Bitter Malice. So you have that. You have your Flamethrower, obviously. And then your normal stab is going to be really weird, right? Because regular Zoroark already learns Hyper Voice. It's not the worst. It's 90 base power. So it's not terrible, but you might not always see normal as a move just because it's not typically needed. Like in this case, if I was running Bitter Malice, I almost called it Batty Bat, and Flamethrower, I'd definitely run Focus Blast as my last move because it allows me to deal with Tyranitar, which essentially walls that set, though it does have a chance to be burnt and frostbitten, as well as like normal types, even though they do take the other one, but it's just strong for that. And obviously Heatran, and basically Heatran and Tyranitar are the big ones that I want to be able to cook with Focus Blast. And again, having this speed, this is like my Nasty Plot, and then Specs, I would do something like Trick if it still gets Trick going forward with this. Obviously, U-turn is pretty big too. Now, I've talked about movesets, I've talked about things like that, like things I could do, and then there's like Swords Dance, and they get Shadow Sneak here, so we could do just Swords Dance, Shadow Sneak, Shadow Claw. I don't think this set would be as good unless this Pokemon gets access to Poltergeist, simply because Shadow Claw, not the best ghost type physical stab. 70 base power, does have a chance to crit, but still, like 70 base power coming off 100 base attack, not that strong at all. And this is like, I've used Beta with more attack than this, and it's still weak. You know what I mean? And obviously this mon is no comparison to Beta at all, because this mon is faster and stronger on the special side, but Beta is stronger on the physical side, and I'm just telling you, like, from Shadow Claw perspective, it's pretty bad. So, why this Pokemon is definitely better, besides the speed and all that stuff, is like normal Ghost, you can do so much more, right? Like, there is so many more defensive play, and you can get out of there unharmed a lot of the times, is what I'm saying, right? When you disguise Zoroark as let's say I disguise Zoroark as a Ferrothorn, right? And my opponent has a Heatran. Heatran will go for Lava Plume, Flamethrower, whatever. It's going to do, like, still 70-80% to Zoroark, depending on the investment, right? But in the case with this Zoroark, obviously in that case, it'd do slightly more just because of less HP. But in the case of this Zoroark, I can get away almost unscathed in some situations, right? I can disguise my Zoroark as a Gengar. I can disguise my Zoroark as a Gengar, and they have their own Scarf Gengar, or they have a Dragapult, and they go for Shadow Ball, and look at me. I am straight up immune to that. Just because the more immunities this Pokemon has, the more chances you have to take advantage of Illusion. That's basically what I'm getting at, right? Because Zoroark, the other one, yeah, you're great versus Psychic, but like you're not coming in on most other moves. This Mon resists U-turn. This Mon resists Sludge Bomb. This Mon, Poison and Bug, right? This mon immune to fighting, to ghosts, to normal. There are so many ghosts are so good, right? Ghosts are so good, right? Let's look at Sword and Shield OU and just count the number of ghosts in this tier. Blacephalon, Dragapult, there's probably like 3, but like even then, I'm just saying they're top of the line Pokemon. Yeah, there's 2, but they are top of the line Pokemon. All right, they're at their peak, and then you have, I mean, they're not in OU right now, but then in BL you'll have like Aegislash, Gengar. Aegislash is down. Oh yeah, they actually let it back in you, which is crazy. But yeah, you have Aegislash and Gengar, which is still top of the line Pokemon too. I wouldn't be surprised if they eventually shift up as well. So the ability to be immune to Ghost, right? And you're also immune to fighting, so you'll switch in on Buzzwole's close combats, right? And you're faster than Blacephalon, which is a pretty big thing too. So it just opens up so much for this Pokemon just defensively, and the counterplay and like the mind games you can do with this are way more than what you could do with regular Zoroark. And I'm so excited for this Pokemon in future games. I can't wait. I cannot wait to see what it does. I can't wait to see if Frostbite ends up staying Frostbite instead of Freeze. Again, that would be a fantastic replacement for this, for the game, in my opinion. And I can't wait to see what the rest of its move pool will look like. Again, Flamethrower and Bitter Malice are pretty solid, especially if it still gets Trick and U-Turn. Like, even if I don't have access to Focus Blast, Grass Knot, etc., I don't think it matters too much. And then on the physical side, right, you still have access to Low Kick. So Low Kick, you know, that's an Oko on Tyranitar. Right, so you can do mix with like stuff like that. Hyper Voice is still an option on specs as well, potentially. If Hyper Beam does become what it did there, I doubt it. But if that does happen, that'd be insane. Like, I thought the original Hyper Beam was sick because if you, in Gen 1, if you picked up a KO with Hyper Beam, you, like with Tauros, if it picked up a KO with Hyper Beam, which is a physical move, it's not special. Because normal, it was based on the typing, so normal is a physical move always. If you picked up a KO on a Pokemon, you actually did not have to wait. You did not have to recharge. So I always wanted Hyper Beam to go back to those, like in the original days. And then obviously, you know, Hydro Cannon and Blast Burn and Frenzy Plant would follow. But that would be crazy too. Imagine Ash Greninja with Hydro Cannon and then not having to recharge. Oh my god. But yeah, if it does keep Hyper Beam, obviously Hyper Beam will be great on specs as well as Nasty Plot sets. Like, that's just a great move as well. But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts on Zoroark, the Hisuian version of it. I really think it's going to be the best version of Zoroark we have. I think it's going to be insane. I'm happy we finally have normal Ghost, bro. Dude, normal Ghost walling Ghost fighting, walling normal Ghost is so sick. Like, the fact that it can't touch itself. Oh, have I been saying Bitter Malice is a Dark type attack? I'm sorry, it's a Ghost type attack. Excuse me. Have I been saying that? Dude, I just realized I might have been saying that. I said Ghost here, but I might have like talked about Dark as well. I apologize. One other thing is that the Pokemon actually walls itself, right? So you might even see random Dark Pulses coverage. I kind of doubt that. I would rather have Knockoff. As like, if I had to have coverage, I would not put Dark Pulse simply for the ability to hit myself, right? I'd rather have Knockoff because at least I can hit myself for super effective damage, or even knock out the other Pokemon, but also get rid of items from other Pokemon too. So I'm sorry, I put Batty Bad here, and I think it threw off like the typing for me. I know Bitter Malice is Ghost, and I know this Pokemon has Ghost Stab. I just said it's Hex, but weaker. But yeah, anyway, thank you for watching. Hope you guys all enjoyed. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. I upload Pokemon videos every single day, and that's not going to change for the foreseeable future, hopefully. If you guys want to pick up Pokemon Legends Arceus as well, I do have a Best Buy affiliate link down below. If you actually buy anything using that affiliate link from Best Buy, you actually support me on the channel, so I appreciate that. And I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye, my friends.